am gonna do something I haven't done for about a year now, and that is we're gonna make some hot Mrs. Wages, hot Mrs. Wages salsa. I have in this pot here 20 cups of my homegrown tomatoes. Mrs. Wages packaging tells you that you have to take the skins off. So the way I took my skins off is I actually, let me show you, I've got another one to go in. I washed my tomatoes out of my garden, okay? I take the core out. I put them in my oven. Even though my oven's not working right now, my broiler is working. And you literally can blister the skins in about 4 to 5 minutes under the broiler. And that's what I did. Now I will tell you, I didn't save these skins because they got a little charred, and so I didn't want to put those in the dehydrator. And then I've just put them in. I measured everything out. For every one package of the Mrs. Wages salsa, you need 10 cups of whole tomatoes. You can totally do this with canned tomatoes. So let's say in your pantry you have roasted tomatoes, whole tomatoes, any kind of tomatoes that are canned, and you need to use them up. The dates are getting close or whatever, you need to rotate them out. You can use cans to get those 10 cups to make you some salsa. So I'm doubling this recipe, and last year I made the mild. The mild it's mild. And you don't add to this, okay? You do not add peppers and onions or any of that, because this is a water bath recipe. If you go to Mrs. Wage's website, she will tell you not to do it. If you want to add peppers and onions, cilantro, any of the things, you do it when you go to open your jar and serve it, not before canning it. And so, since we're gonna water bath can these, we're gonna follow her directions. And I'm gonna mix a medium with a hot. I don't like really hot stuff, but the mild was too mild. I really use this more like Rotel, but I'm hoping we might like it just like salsa if I doctor it up. And I didn't really do that last year, because once I discovered I could use it as Rotel, it just became my Rotel. So I've got 20 cups of tomatoes in here. You just saw me take my immersion blender, and I just kind of broke it up a little bit, because who wants like a huge tomato when you dip salsa? You just want little bits and pieces. I need to add to it white distilled vinegar, 1 cup, because I'm doubling the recipe. And when you get your distilled vinegar, this is Laura Lynn, this is the Ingles brand, you want to check, and let's see, I hope you can see, I don't have my glasses on, but it says on there that this is 5% acidity. That's what you have to have for canning recipes. All right, so hold on. I have my jars over here steaming away, because this is hot. You gotta have hot jars with hot liquid. All right, so what we need to do is we need to open up. I haven't used this one, this is new. Oops. And so I gotta open this up, and we're going to put 1 cup of white vinegar. We're going to put that in there. All right, so let me read to you what it says. And yes, I'm reading without my glasses, so I'm squinty. I'm going to be squinting. Okay. The first thing you do is you have to wash your tomatoes if you're not using canned tomatoes. She tells you to scald them to get the skins off. I'm telling you the oven trick. Do the oven trick. It's so much easier. So once you get through that, you should get 10 cups of the tomatoes, which I did. I measured all mine out. I have the 20 since I'm doubling it. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna combine, we have our tomatoes in here. I've got the distilled vinegar I'm fixing to put in, and we're gonna put our 2 packets of the spices, Mrs. Wage's spices. And we're going to mix that up, bring it to a boil. It does tell you not to use an aluminum pan. This is stainless steel. I got this today at Walmart because I needed a bigger pan. I have been struggling with some of these recipes because I don't have a big pan. They had this big pan. It was 24 bucks. You can actually can in this one, so it can be used as a water bath canner. I'm using it for this, but I was like, okay, but it's just stainless steel, nothing fancy, whatever, but it'll get the job done. All right, so we're going to put in our 1 cup of vinegar. Let me get a spoon. All right, I'm gonna stir that up. All right, and then we're gonna open, like I said, I'm mixing. I'm doing a medium spice and a hot. And it looks like that. So it's got dehydrated pieces, but this is in the appropriate measurements for water bath canning. And that's what her website says, is if you start adding your own peppers and garlic and onions, it changes the pH, and this recipe is based off of just using the simple package and tomatoes and the vinegar. That's it. We don't add salt. We don't add water, lemon juice. You don't do any of those things. All right, so all we're gonna do, I'm gonna bring you in over here. All right, I'm gonna turn it back up on low. I'm gonna start mixing in my spices. Getting everything incorporated. This is already hot. I turned it off when I used the immersion blender because I had it plugged up. All right, so I've just got this going here. And you're supposed to bring it up to stir occasionally, bringing it up to a boil. Reduce your heat, simmer for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally, and then we're going to can up our salsa. Regular mouth jars sit up just a little bit higher than your wide mouth jars, so you've got to make sure you have at least an inch of water covering the tallest jar in there. Okay, so I'm going to put my lid on. I'm going to wait for this to come up to a full rolling boil, and then I will set my timer for 40 minutes. I have heard that in the Mennonite Amish communities that they actually only have the water come up to the lip of the jar because they say you don't get siphoning that way. I'm not a Mennonite, I'm not Amish, and I don't live by one of those communities. So I don't know, but I have read that, and I've seen it in blogs and vlogs. And so if any of y'all know anything about that, or have experience with that, let us know. I can tell you that is not what's recommended in the USDA for home preservation, and that's not what's in the bulk canning book if you follow that one. But like I said, if you know more about that and you have information, I would love the information if you would share that in the comments. So we'll be back in probably about an hour, because we want to get that really cranking up and going and set our timer, and then we want to let it sit for about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes with it off after it has had that 40-minute processing time, and then we're going to take it out. I'll show you what that looks like, or what they look like, and then we will leave them alone for the rest of the night, and tomorrow we'll check our seals, and as long as everything seals, we'll take those bands off, we will label them, date them, and put them on the pantry shelf. This was a lot of tomatoes. This was 4 of those trays that I showed you that I put in my oven to get the skins off. So, and these are just whatever tomatoes that I have ripening. I don't just do plum tomatoes, I just use what I got. And I didn't worry. If you see in this one, it has seeds. I don't care. If that bothers you, or you have like diverticulosis or diverticulitis, or however you say it, and seeds are an issue, you would want to use like a food mill to get your seeds out. I have one of those things. I did not like using it last year, so I don't have that either. No one in my family has that, so I'm not going to worry about it for now. Who knows? In the future, maybe I have to worry about it, but not today. So anyway, I'll see you in a little while when these get done, and we'll pull them out and see how they look. And that's how you can Mrs. Wages medium/hot salsa. Let's see how these look. Oh. Ooh, those look pretty. Oh yeah. No siphoning, which is good. That means we got our headspace right. And I did take a little taste off of the one jar we did not can, and it's hot. It's not bad though, but this one is much better than the one I did last year. Much better. And so we have 6 jars that are canned, and I have my one that I can hold now, because I'll probably go ahead and put it in the fridge. It's just warm. It's not hot anymore. But temperature wise, I would not, unless you like really hot stuff, I wouldn't do 2 packs of hot. I think 1 hot, 1 medium was like, that works out really good. Good morning, guys. So I checked all of my seals. They are good. Nothing wrong with those. So if you would have done this, I ended up getting 6 quarts and 1 pint. 1 pint is in the refrigerator because I put it in a quart-sized jar, and I just left it for fresh eating. If you were going to do these in pints, that would have been, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 12. That would have been 13 pints of salsa, of hot salsa. And you know, start kind of thinking with the holidays coming up and stuff like that. Like if you do gift baskets or give neighbor gifts, maybe you do some jams, whatever, teacher gifts. Y'all, this is a great one to give, because have been a teacher and you get all those jams and jellies, and if you try to limit your sugar intake, this doesn't have sugar. So it's not got sugar added. And so this is a good one. And you can always do the medium salsa if you're worried about it's going to be too hot or not hot enough. I actually really like the blend. It's good. To me, this is what I wished I had done last year. So anyway, I appreciate you being here. Sorry. But I wanted to give you an update on this. If I get a good bit more of tomatoes towards the end of the season, I may do this project again, do it in the smaller jars for that very reason of being able to have little gifts and things like that. So anyway, I appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next time. Bye.